The Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 199. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected.
Failing to elect a speaker is becoming something of a ritual in the House of Representatives. Today, Republicans made their second attempt at electing Ohio Congressman, Trump ally Jim Jordan, to the speakership. And in the end, Congressman Jordan received one fewer vote for Speaker than he did yesterday, earning him the rare distinction of having received the fewest votes of any official Speaker nominee in modern American history, which is really something. Perhaps as a consequence of this, some Republicans and Democrats are now openly considering the idea of giving more power to the House's understudy Speaker, a man named Patrick McHenry. A third Speaker vote could take place as soon as tomorrow at noon. And Republican opponents of Mr. Jordan say they expect he will lose even more support in the next vote, which may actually be part of their plan. CNN is reporting that Jordan opponents have been purposefully staggering their no votes over multiple ballots in order to show growing opposition to Jim Jordan, and also apparently to prolong the pain of all of this as much as possible. Joining me now is Washington Democrat Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. She is also the chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Congresswoman Jayapal, thank you for being here. They say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Are we witnessing insanity unfold on the floor of the House of Representatives?
Alex, we totally are. But I just want to say it's not just the last 2 days. It's really this entire year. When you think about this, we just completed the 17th vote for Speaker in 9 months. And so I think we have to just recognize that the Republican Party is having a civil war of their own. They are unable to govern. And any time that we have gotten something done, I think you and I talked about this the last time I was on, it's because Democrats stepped up and gave the votes to get those things done so we wouldn't default on our debt, so that we wouldn't shut down the government. And I think what we have to get to is a place where Republicans, some group of Republicans, recognize that a bipartisan path forward where we decide together what are the key issues that must get done for the American people that have a bipartisan path forward, and we get those things done, because this Republican Party is in ruin. They cannot govern. And it is, again, on Democrats to make sure that we are able to move forward on these essential issues for the American people.
It sounds from the reporting like there are some back-channel discussions between Democrats and Republicans about empowering the Speaker pro tem, who we call the understudy Speaker, Patrick McHenry, to take a longer-term position. Is that palatable to House progressives, or is this just a sort of moderates project only?
Well, I think that nobody has been officially, there's nobody to negotiate with, right? So there's no official negotiations. That is going to be left to our leader Hakeem Jeffries, to negotiate that. What we have said and what he has said in his op-ed is that bipartisan means bipartisan. It means that Democrats have to be able to have a voice in what comes to the floor, in making sure that bad bills don't come forward, in making sure that we are just putting forward the things that we know are necessary to keep the government open, for example. So I think that there's no details here because we don't have anybody to negotiate with. If Republicans get to the place at the bottom of the barrel, and they're almost there, Alex, but apparently not yet, but if they get to that place at the bottom of the barrel, we are ready as Democrats to listen, but it's got to be something that allows us to hold them accountable. And it's got to be something that truly is bipartisan, which means taking into account the Democrats' wishes and the fact that we essentially are the governing force in the House.
So there will be a price extracted if the next speaker has Democratic votes behind him or her. I do wonder, as you watch this chaos unfold, the fact that there's another vote scheduled tomorrow, what is the mood inside the Democratic caucus? I mean, this is still, it may be a House run by Republicans, and run is a loose term in this case, but it is also your House. And I wonder how you all are processing this and thinking about the road ahead.
It's been really depressing. I have to tell you, this is my 7th year, so I've only been there 3 terms. This is only my 4th term. I have never seen anything like this. The reality is that the fundamental task of governing, the first task of governing, is you pick a speaker. And we went through this debacle at the beginning of the year after 15 rounds of voting. At least Kevin McCarthy was going up in his vote count. Now, Jim Jordan is going down. If he insists on another vote count tomorrow, to me, it's just humiliation, but it's also a waste of the American people's time. We have serious issues in front of us, and we have American families that are hurting. We have international crises that we have to deal with. And the fact that Republicans are continuing to hold out and that so-called moderate Republicans, this is a beef with me, as you know, we call them moderate, but they need to stand up. They need to come over to the Democratic side and say, look, we are going to put people over politics. That's what Democrats do every day. And instead, they are sort of digging in. And so we're ready. We're waiting. We want to get back to work. But let's be clear. Republicans have the majority. Even though Democrats are governing in all the situations where we've gotten things done, they need to come to us, and we are ready and willing. But it's got to be an actual bipartisan path forward.
In other words, the call will not go to voicemail. You guys will pick it up. They just need to dial the number in earnest. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, thank you for your time tonight. Good luck this week. We'll be watching.
Thank you, Alex.